Hello everybody, and welcome to another stream. Hopefully the audio is coming in okay. Okay, so we left off last week with some of the plans for the upcoming week as to showing the player what he has equipped, and what he doesn't, right? And of course, when you actually press one of the buttons to equip that item. So let's jump into it, and I'll show you kind of the latest updates of that happened within for the past week. All right, so let's take a quick look at this. And maybe we'll also implement one of the other items, namely the binoculars. So right now, if you are to take a look at your wrist device, I've added these, and I just noticed that the investigate little info bar there should not be shown. But I have added these icons across the top, as we were discussing last week, to signify the fact that whether you have or not an item in your inventory, and of course that with the with what button to press to equip it. So we have like the pistol is one, the gas mask is two, at least at this time. And of course there's also a health bar that I've added. It's all just a little bit provisionary for the health bar. I'm still debating whether to have a one of those kind of just a counter, or kind of just showing like a 1 through 100 for the health. But this works pretty nice as well. Okay, well, so with the items at the top, once you pick one of them up, like in this case, let's pick the gas mask, that icon turns green, just telling you that okay, you got something in inventory. And now if I was to press 2, the gas mask gets equipped. And if I press 1, I'm not sure if you can hear it. Let me just turn the music, pause the music for a little bit, and crank the volume up a little bit. So if the item that you, so in this case the pistol, if it's if that's the one that you're trying to access, there's like a that was the only sound that I could find. It's just like, it should be like maybe like a beep or something, just kind of telling you that that item, you don't have that item. And once we pick it up, it should show up as green, and then you should be able to equip it. And so the other thing that I mentioned was that I have added this little, I'm not sure, I guess I might have found a bug, this little health bar. And right now, if you're in a area that does damage to you, you'll see that the health bar drops. The other thing that that I added was if you look on the edges of the screen, it's telling you that you've taken some damage, so you need to replenish your health. Oh, Andre, hello. Thank you so much for the good wishes. Thank you and welcome. Just wanted to pause to say hi to Andre. Okay, and yeah, so I'm guessing I found a small bug here where once I unequip the pistol, it does not, like, the hand is not placed properly, like with to go with the animations as it was before. And so I was talking about the edges of the screen kind of lighting up to signify that you've taken damage, and they get worse and worse by the more damage you're taking. So right now, let's 20, 30, let's stop at 20. So as you can see now, it's pretty intense how it shows up that damage. And there's also like the health bar that really dropped, and that should give you an indication that even without this, that you're in trouble. And if anybody's interested in how this was done, um, last week I was showing a little bit of the post-process materials that I have for my come on, just exit full screen. So some of the post-process materials that I have for my player, and let's see, where was my player? Is right here. So if you recall, the player had a material for the gas mask, one for the closing and opening the eyes, for some of these transitions, when falling out of the airplane, when equipping the gas mask, and there's also one for the screen damage. Now, with the screen damage, initially what I had it done was I had it set up with timelines, and I didn't really like having the timeline to control the intensity of the screen damage. So what I've done, and I've modified the material itself to actually have a texture speed parameter, and that's all controlled through that collection. Let's take a look at that this material. It was something that I wanted to share, if it might be useful to somebody else as well. So let's see, if do I have to turn on real time? How can I view this in here? I might need to edit the collection. Let's take a quick look at that. So I'll show you the changes that I've made. It's using a time node, which is very useful. So let me drag this to the side so I can turn this effect on. And let's see, should be here. Okay, there it is. And so at this point, the speed, where is that? Damage. Speed is also a scalar variable in my material collection here. So that one currently set to 0.3. So the more you take, so right now it's kind of okay. It's sort of light damage, not very bad. But once you increase this a little bit, maybe to a 0.6. Oh, that's too much, but 0.6 is already doubling that. And maybe you can also increase the texture intensity. Not that I want to go too far, but now it shows even stronger that okay, you've taken damage, so it's something bad. And once you take up some like food or medicine, which is also going to be signified by an icon in the wrist device, I can just drop these values through my stats. So let's bring this down to, I believe it was at 0, and then this one as well to maybe 0.3. It doesn't really matter since the intensity is low. Okay, so if we take a look at the material for this, now this is out of the Chameleon pack, if you're interested in any of this, and that is, I believe it's still free. Let me see real quick, because I'm kind of curious. I know it was free at for a long time. This package was free on the marketplace, and there's a ton of post-process volumes that I use, and I feel like they're really useful. Let's take a quick look and see where that is. Oh, it's on the marketplace here. Oh, hi. Tell me, do you work for any company? I do. Well, I have a day job, but I do not. It's not a game industry job. It's just software engineering. All right. So if we look for Chameleon there, and welcome to the stream. Okay, so it's this package here. Oh, I guess it's 45 bucks. But it was, I believe it was a 1 point free on the marketplace for like the monthly free stuff, and that's when I got it. So that's always good to have to pay attention to that. Okay, so if we take a quick look at the material itself, what I have added is, well, this little thing here. If anybody's interested in signs and kind of materials, I'm definitely not any kind of a pro when it comes to materials, but in order to add that that flashing texture, or that flashing edge of screen damage, this is what I have added. And of course, linear sign was just something that I was experimenting with, so maybe don't quote me on it that this is the best one. Sign does pretty much the same, well, to some extent similar things, but yeah, the main thing is using time, and then this parameter, this scalar parameter from the collection. And I'm clamping from 0 to 1 because the sign does go into negative, so it's going to affect how that edge of screen looks like. And then with the texture intensity, how strong that thing is shown on the edge of the screen, I'm multiplying that, and that multiplying with the texture sample that's in this material. And if you're interested, it's kind of a big material, but I can show it to you real quick. So if you want to pause the video, and at least that way you can probably create it yourself. So there's some of that. Okay, let's kind of move along, and I'm going to try and make this a little bit bigger for you guys. And sorry, there might be a little bit of spaghetti around here, so my apologies for that. Alright, so let's see, screen borderline UVs. This is all the section that I was doing with the time node and the material collection parameters. Alright, and then all the way down here, there's a little bit more stuff that I don't really understand, because it's this post-process material stuff is a little bit over me. But all of that gets joined into this. There's also this depth only masking. I'm not sure if it's gonna make too much of a difference. Let's take a quick look and see how complex that is. Hopefully it's not too bad. There it is. So if you're interested in how that would look, this is it. So you can pause the video at this time, and if you want to make one of these yourself. And just kind of an overview of this entire thing. Hopefully I got everything in frame. If not, just you can ping me on Discord and I'll try and help you out. Okay, so that was something interesting, and I was really happy that I got to do that without having to go through these timelines. I mean, not that they're not effective. I mean, they do what they're supposed to, but I'm not entirely sure if I don't need to use them and I can just rely on the material, I'll just do that. Okay, so let's also add the binoculars as another piece in this. Let's bring this back here. So in my display there, let's also add up binoculars, and I'll just keep it at 3 because that's kind of the next one in line, but yeah, let's do it. So what I've done is this, I have this individual single inventory item, so one's pistol, one's gas mask. So if you want to take a look at that real quick, it's really basic, extremely simple. There's there's an image and then the inventory number, so those can be set. And I'm using also the pre-construct and the construct connected into setting the brush from texture, and then the text for the inventory number. So that way, whenever I have one of these in here, I can just set this up to be maybe 3 if I wanted to set it to something else. Actually, not 4. Why am I counting up? 42. No, 2. Okay. And since this is in a horizontal box, it's just as easy as duplicating this node, this widget, and then I'm gonna call this, let's call it binoculars. Alright, and this is gonna be 3. And since they're all looking into the inventory, they all work the same. So when starting the game, even though I pick these items up, this is always going to be just the one that's highlighted in red because I don't have binoculars just yet, or a way to add it. So let's actually play around a little bit with Photoshop and create the icon for this. So what I've previously done is, hopefully Photoshop, let's go, where are you? There it is. Not sure why CS3 is like so incredibly slow. But I found this little, let's see, where is it? This little Creative Commons like public domain icon here for my binoculars. So let's work with this. I'm gonna try and crop this to be a kind of a square size, and also let's apply image size. I've had these set up as 128 by 128. Should be a decent size. Okay. So now I'm going to try and match the same kind of style that I have here. So first, let's Andre, yes, because the new ones are cost money, and this one I had I don't know, for like maybe 10 years. I can't remember how old this is. The thing is, it does what it's supposed to. I know the interface, and that's the same reason that I use like an older version of Blender. You know, I already know all the shortcuts, and I don't have to learn new ones. So, or you know, the way the new interface is set up, in the end, it does the exact same thing, no difference. So to me, that's all I need. All right, so let's see what I have for this guy. Do I still can't recall what I was hoping I had a still the style applied to this layer, so that I can copy the exact same setup, but I'll try and get it within kind of the same area of, this is like just using an outline. Okay, so for this I'm gonna try first and do a what is it, color overlay to make this all the way to black, so I can invert it a little bit better. I guess it could be, I don't need to invert it, it could just be straight that, like that, and flatten it. Oh, actually I thought there was a way that I can rasterize this, but maybe not in. I think I might need to convert it to a smart object and then rasterize the layer, which, okay. Alright, so let's add a outline to this, see how that turns out, or I think it's, yeah, it's a stroke. So let's make this black, and to kind of match what the other ones are like, I'm thinking that might be about right. Alright, so I'm also going to play a little bit of music in the background, if hopefully nobody minds, or if it's not too loud. Okay, and the other thing that I've added is, just to help with the smoothness a little bit, is what I've done, I've selected and I'm probably going to need to rasterize this layer as well, but let me zoom in. So now it's at 400 and 400, they're about the same, so I think that might work. Alright, so we duplicate this layer here. The only thing about this version of Photoshop, at least on my end, is that it runs a little bit slower than the one that I was trying with the community, but so let's do a feather. Alright, so convert this to a smart object, rasterize layer, and there we go. So we got this little kind of a little bit of a faded effect around the edges. And I'm gonna go ahead and save this as let's see, did we call it this one is gonna be a icon. Let's see where this one goes. I'm gonna call this binoculars icon. Alright, so I'm gonna save this as a PNG, and let's import it to where all these are at. Hey Chaddy, welcome. And we'll see how it looks in our thing here. There it goes. I guess it could have been a little bit bigger compared to the other ones. Let's try and make it so it takes up a little bit more space. In this area here. So PNG, and we named it binoculars icon. Yeah, Andre, it's I don't do so much work with Photoshop. It's only like custom stuff like this that I either don't have them on the marketplace the way that I wanted it to be, or it's so yeah, that's kind of the only times that I do that I do stuff you know, in Photoshop myself. Okay, so now I have the new item in here. Let's pick up because I do have the item for my inventory for the binoculars pickup. So let's see, that one is cut off. I'm thinking it might be the size of the... Alright, so that one is not updating the the color, just because the way I have it set up in my in here, whenever you pick up one of these items, it's checking to see if the item is in the inventory. So I haven't checked for the binoculars just yet. So, and when that happens, I'm gonna call this function to actually this gray item out. Initially I was trying to make it like grayish, but it didn't really work, so I'm just changing the color to red if it's not in the inventory, and to green if it is. And let's go back in here and do the same thing for the checking to see if we have the item in the inventory. So this is going to be binoculars. And checking in the player inventory component. And then we'll do the same thing with the graying item out, depending on if we have it or not. Alright, the other thing that I need to check is if my items list, so these are all the items that are kind of inventory worthy or can go in the inventory, and I think I've added the binoculars here, so there they are. So I think that at this point we should be able to see that in the inventory, or like that thing should be turning green when I pick it up. Let's see how this turns out. Alright, so right now it's red. I think there's like a little bit of a scaling thing with that particular widget, so that's why the 3 is not showing up. But let's see if we pick up the, there it goes. So picking up all the items here, and now I have the binoculars in my inventory as well. And what we'll do is, in the same way that I've done with the pistol and the gas mask, where you press 1 to equip the pistol, press 2 to get to the gas mask. We'll do the same for the binoculars, because the binoculars also has its own post-process effect, and we'll take a look at how that looks as well. It's actually just the same as the gas mask, only with a different texture on top of it. So that's why I'm saying these post-process materials are really powerful, and I really like them. Okay, let's take a look and see if I can fix this particular inventory list here, because it seems to be cut off at this thing, at this here. Let's see, this has been a kind of something that I've been trying to figure out a little bit better, but I'm always kind of having a hard time with it to see what's the best way to scale these, and I think this should do it. There we go. So this one at least will fit like 4 items, and I can make it a little, probably bigger. Let's actually do that now. 1200. Let's see, will that fit the screen? Okay, so that should fit, at least looks, by the way, it looks 3 more items, so I could extend it up to 7, and that's probably about how many completely different items you're going to be able to pick, because the health items, they're all going to be just one type, and at least that's how I look at it at this point. Okay, let's see if that shows up as expected. Alright, so that looks good. We got 1, 2, 3 for binoculars. And I need to, this special area, one thing that I forgot to do, my apologies, is to have this not show up at all times. So probably something that I'm gonna need to try and fix, but let's see our player. It's got its own input graph here, and I have kind of the pistol, then the gas mask. There's all the items of because with the gas mask it's a little different, and this is going to be pretty similar to how the binoculars are going to be, since it's a it's not really an item that you can see, named like a pistol or something like that, but I still need to make sure that I either have it as equipped or unequipped, and that's why I kind of changed the status of it, whether when you equip it or unequip it. So we'll do the same with the kind of the same idea for the binoculars. So at this time we have them on 3. Let's add this in. So 3 key, and we'll do the same thing to check to see if the item is in. Because you can press 3 at any time, whatever, doesn't really matter what's shown on the wrist device display, but when we press 3 we still want to check to see if we have it in the inventory. Okay, so if we're going to look for binoculars, and if also let's do, this is actually going to be almost identical, so I'm just going to duplicate these nodes and paste them down here. So if the item is in, then we're going to get the item and we're going to change its equipped state when the binoculars are equipped, and also when they're unequipped, right? So we need to know what the state of that item is. Binoculars. So we'll do the same thing here. So we'll update that item in our inventory. And the function is going to be the same, this kind of gas mask fade in and fade out. The only thing is that, and I'm just thinking about it now, that I shouldn't be using this necessarily, because this one, let's take a quick look at it. So this one does kind of the eye closing and opening, and I think I should be moving that separately, because in the end what's going to matter is the parameter values. And let me just move, this is kind of the old way that I had it set up with the controlling the material, the post-process materials, and that didn't really work out so well. So I'm kind of thinking that we might just create some copies of this for the gas mask fade out. Is going to be like the binoculars fade out and fade in. And then I'll probably try and see if I can come up with a better way to optimize this, make it a little bit better. Before we do this, I'm going to try and make sure that and that's not where I want. Should be in the player input graph. I want to make sure that the actual value is applied properly for the binoculars once you equip it. So kind of changing the texture. So let's take a look at how that looks first. And let me save this. And if we look at the post-process volume, we have the binoculars. Let's take a look at this material. So again, this is also a post-process material. Now, if we were to enable this, where is my... Did I close that again? I guess I did. Let me open the collection again. And since there's so many of them, sometimes the easiest way is just to navigate to where it's living. Okay. And where is that? It is right here. Okay, so the binoculars, I almost thought I closed it. Okay, the binoculars, and they should look like this, just by changing the default values on the binoculars on parameter collection. I guess this is a material parameter collection, and this one's one of the parameters. Alright, so let's do that. Now the reason to have this separate is that I'm going to need to change whenever you equip the binoculars. There's like a different not field of view, but if you take a look in the yeah, I think it's a field of view. So, making this smaller to maybe 30 or 40 is kind of how the functionality of a binocular would work. And I usually keep this at around 100. Hey, Gurkhan, welcome. Hello. And so that's what we're gonna change. So in here, I'm going to disconnect this for now because we don't really do the gas mask fade in, but what I'm going to do is I am going to, let's grab the set scalar parameter value. I'm going to grab this node, and just for testing purposes I'm going to put it right here. Now the one thing that I was not able to figure out properly is what happens if you have two of these materials. Like you have the gas mask, and you also have and then you equip the binoculars. What happens then? And the only way I could think of how to do it was to change the binocular, the gas mask value down to not be there, right? So it only has the binoculars. And let's see how that works. And this parameter value is going to be the binoculars on, and I wanted to set this to, actually this is going to be -1 because it's set to unequipped. And then this one again, binoculars on, and set it to 1. Alright, let's see what kind of mess this gets us in besides this little trouble here. Alright, let's fix that with inventory. Alright, let's check this out. And I'm hoping the music is not too loud. You know, kind of not, at least not louder than my voice. Alright, so at this point we have 1, 2, 3. Let's pick up the binoculars and see what happens. There we go. That's perfect. That's what we want to have. And we need to change the field of view as well. Let's do that. Now I might be stumbling a little bit because with the setup that ALS v4 has, they use this player camera manager. I believe it's like a component or something. So let's try and see how that would work. Get player camera manager, and I'm not entirely sure if right after this I can set the field of view FOV, set default FOV. I'm not sure if that would be it. Let's try and this one's going to be 100, and this one's going to be, I'm going to try for 30, or at least let's try 30 and see if it changes anything. When you equip the binoculars, let's see how this looks. Okay, and play. Alright, so let's pick up the binoculars. Let's equip it. I guess that wasn't it. That's a bummer. What is the way to set the field of view? Google, tell me. I don't know if you can get the, you probably need to get the camera right off of this, right? Is it so? Camera? Get, yeah, no, that's not really, that's what I was kind of having a hard time with. Get, what can you get from this? Get root component? I don't think that's it. Let's see, I know I have used this one some time ago, this camera player manager, so I'm going to try and search through some of the blueprints and see where else might it get called. So player camera manager. And try and get to see if there's like any kind of usage similar to what I'm trying to do. That's not really it in the grapple component. Where else? So there's it does with the camera shake, so that's also done through the player camera manager if I need to do a player camera shake. But how do you actually set the field of view? Let's see, what else? I'm wondering if it could be player camera manager. Wow, what's so difficult about this? Player camera manager. Found this little bit of a reference from 4.26, but it doesn't seem to help much. So this one has a get FOV angle. Interesting. I'm wondering if is there also a set FOV? No, that's just a set default. This is so silly. Well, I guess it'd be something that I need to look into and figure out what's the way to set the FOV based on this get player camera manager component. I think that has been a little bit of a pain point with this new implementation of ALS. I do like it to some extent, kind of just keep them compartmentalized a little bit, but at the same time it's just adding some extra things that once you learn them is good, but it can add a little frustration at times. Okay, well, so that's something that I'm gonna need to try and figure out. But the good thing is that I guess this is gonna be a comment with a question mark, just like that. How do we set that up? Yes, so the good thing is that the material gets applied through the material collection, the parameter collection. The material gets applied properly, and it works. So that's the main thing, which is good. So let's see if we pick it up again, and it's showing that we have it in the inventory, and when equipped. Oh, so Andre, was that the question of if I work for any company? Yeah, I mean, I do work, but it's just a software engineering, so it's not related to anything game. It's not game related. Okay, so this is how the binoculars would look once and once I figure out how to change the field of view, hopefully by tomorrow, so I'll be able to, I wanted to be able to show it to you in tomorrow's stream. And I'm gonna try and do some digging tonight and maybe ask some people that know more than I do. Alright, so there we go, we unequipped that. Gitish, oh yeah, so I did change the HUD, the HUD icons, so now they look like this, so when you pick up an item, like the pistol, that thing turns green, just like that. And that's how that works. And we've actually just added the binoculars, so just have them on 3, and so that's the way to tell whether you have an item in your inventory or not, and also what key that item is on. And so with that said, that's the main thing that I wanted to show as an update from kind of a functional standpoint. The other thing that I was playing around a little bit was some of the lighting, and that was just a simple thing that I did. And with Lumen, which is really cool. On this particular floodlight, let me show you something that that is actually kind of cool. Is the indirect lighting. Let me move this to the side here. And the really cool part about this, I'm just going to save because it's kind of a little tick that I have. So right now I only have this one light in here, and if I was to update, and it's also just one light, just it's just a point light. Actually no, it's a spotlight, my bad. So the nice thing about it is, with the indirect lighting, set that to 10, and that's what you're getting. Oh, so Andre, sorry. Can I ask? Oh yeah, no, totally. You can definitely ask. I don't think I got that. Oh, that was from Roman. I hope I'm saying Roman. I don't read Cyrillic. My mistake. You can ask away anything. Okay, so that's what I was saying. Just changing the indirect lighting intensity for that particular light. If it's set to 0, that's your regular normal behavior for a point light. But set that higher up, and you get this really nice bounce light around here, which I definitely like. So Andre, ask away. I'm here to try and answer questions as well if I know the answer. Totally. Okay, that's just a little bit of a tidbit that I wanted to show, lighting related. There's as far as kind of the world design, there hasn't been too much work on it, because I know most of the focus was on the not so fun to look at part of blueprints. So that was something that I just showed. And Chadi, would you speak about putting material on landscape? I dropped the bridge material, but it doesn't change. So that's a good question. I do use separate materials. Like for example, for this particular terrain, I use a material that I've created. I'm not sure if you watched any of my previous videos, but it's actually a kind of I managed to make a tutorial series on terrain materials, and that's why. So I don't use the one from Bridge, and unfortunately I can't really help with that. I only use the textures. Oh, so Andre says I'm kind of new to Unreal, not going to use it for games. Okay, so just ask away. What's your question? I'm here. Gitesh, oh, okay, talking about field of view, you can change it by creating an event and then casting it to your player camera manager and using the node set field of view. It's pretty easy. So actually that's a great point, because I was trying to find that. So do I need to cast this? Because it doesn't. Oh, cast ALS player camera manager like that, and then set field, or no? Is it get camera? Oh, what's this one here? But I think I'm seeing what were you getting at. Hey, Script Superior, welcome, welcome. Oh, Chadi, yeah, no problem. I wish I could have answered that, but I think I checked out the terrain material that came with Quixel, and it was either too confusing to use, or I didn't like it for whatever reason. So I just said, okay, I'm just gonna use what I've already made a tutorial for. So from here, the get player camera manager, Gitish, what are you thinking of? If you were using ALS as well, what are you thinking of casting it to? Because I was thinking of casting it to the ALS player camera manager, since it's I think that's what it is. So let me see if that's the case. ALS player camera manager. So let's look at this camera behavior. That's not, it's just a skeletal mesh. Player camera manager. Okay, well, I think we're getting closer. I was kind of thinking I could get that. So Gitish, that's the thing. There is no with the way the ALS is set up, there is no camera, right? So that's the old way. It was set up with a camera, and I could have dragged that in just fine and do it like that. But this one has this ALS player camera manager, which it's not really what what I was hoping it would do, right? So, and that's why I can't figure out. I'm gonna need to be doing some digging into this, and because I feel like I'm just actually, let's see if, let me try doing it like this. I'm not sure if this might do it through here. That'd be something interesting if it did. I'm kind of wondering if it would. Let me at least try and change it for the when it goes into a different into 30. That'd be interesting if this works, but if not, I'll probably do a little bit of more digging into it. Oh, thank you, Gurkhan. Thank you. Gitish, so yeah, I'll try and do that. Let me see if this works. If not, maybe later on today I'll try your suggestion. Thank you. Andre saying, I bring Gruma's Alembic to my character. I also created collision objects for the head, then did copy collision from static mesh and physical assets in group, not reacting. Oh, that's a really, I mean, it's a pretty advanced question, I would have to say, because for starters, I don't use Alembic, and I only, if you're thinking of like for my grooms, I only use the ones coming from metahumans. So I'm really sorry that I can't tell you more on that for the Alembic aspect of things. Yeah, grooms is something that I've just looked at it as a black box and more of a, okay, well, it's there, I'm just gonna use what they have. Ah, this is such a bummer. That is not it. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to do a little bit of digging into this field of view, and one last attempt. I'm just gonna try and see if this one actually, you know, from getting player camera manager and casting to the ALS player camera manager, if this is gonna be changing anything. So let's at least try that. I don't want to give up just yet. I'm gonna give it one more shot, and then I'm not gonna waste too much of your time. I wanted to do a little bit something else, a little bit more fun with, you know, kind of some of the world building, and that should hopefully be a little bit more interesting. Alright, so it looks like this one got hit, and kind of brings me to one of my frustrations with Unreal Engine 5, where debugging is extremely slow compared to 4.27. So like I'm literally just trying to type something in the search for this particular component, and it's like just completely frozen. Hopefully it's not going to crash the engine. And this is just debugging. It's not doing anything specific to extreme. Okay, so there's the field of view default FOV. So Victor, welcome, and that was the one thing that I was kind of having a little bit of trouble. I mean, this is the only thing that is giving me a little bit of headache with Unreal Engine 5 is debugging. This is literally the only place where I'm frustrated by it. Aside of that, I haven't noticed a performance drop, you know, in game or in like the editor, and at least that's my experience. I know there's like right now this is like completely stuck. Jesus, what the heck is happening? And plus I also have a pretty rundown, you know, you would think last century PC, because I only have 4 cores, so which is yeah, oh, there you go. I actually have the same thing. So I do have a 16 gigs of RAM. Not sure if that matters, but yeah, I'm where you're at. So, but I wanted to move it. The thing, the main reason that I wanted to move is I know a lot of these issues are gonna get fixed eventually. I hope they're not just going to be kind of a snowball type of thing that they're only going to get to it, and so it crashed. All right. Well, hopefully the stream is still going, and that's the stable thing. The one stable part of it is that the stream is still going from the looks of it. But yeah, actually, I just ran out of RAM because that's what Unreal does. It just gobbles up the RAM. All right, let's fire this thing up one more time. Thankfully, I'm saving pretty often, so I don't think I lost too much. But I'll try and debug it separately, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll have an update on that player camera. Again, Gitish, thank you so much for the suggestion. I'll try and use those. But yeah, Victor, I'm hoping that once I get at least a mid-level PC, because right now mine is at this point this 4th Gen i5 is towards lower end. Hopefully things are gonna run a little bit better and not that many issues. And like I said, I'm hoping that the stream is still live. At least that's how it's showing. Let me try and refresh this page, because of course there's also, I'm using Chrome, and Chrome is also it eats up RAM like there's no tomorrow. I'm gonna try and come back to the stream window if possible. Okay, yeah, I think Chrome might have done Unreal in as well. So I'm gonna try and stop Chrome and restart that. Yes, of course Chrome didn't shut down correctly. Why am I here? I know that. Alright, let's hope that I can get back to the stream here. Alright, and we're back. Sorry about that, guys. At least it looks like it's still live, which that's great. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for confirming. Alright, so let me just, because I was kind of hearing myself as well. Oh, right, so Ryzen setup, I was thinking of getting Ryzen as well. It's going to be a matter of money and I think availability as well. Andre, the first test build, I'm hoping to get a couple of more areas, and we'll kind of fly around the world a little bit out here to show a little bit of the world and kind of highlight the areas that I still need to touch up on before the test build. As far as the functionality, everything is almost in place. From like there's still it's not perfect, but the first test build, I do want to have it within the next weeks or so. Maybe a couple of months. That's what I'm going for. Hopefully, nothing is gonna interfere with that. Kind of the, and by that I mean, like the adulting type of stuff. Whenever that. And hopefully that's gonna be okay, and that's the main thing. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of what I'm planning for that. So Gurkhan, so as I know, there is no tessellation in Unreal Engine 5. So that's a good question. At this point, I have not focused on the terrain as much when it comes to the to either the parallax. I am using RVT. So if you've seen some of the previous videos, you probably noticed that I am using runtime virtual textures. When it comes to blending some of these assets in, and I think they're just like not properly loaded at the moment. Yeah, so kind of around these areas here. Sometimes what you need to do is whenever you get some of these issues with the runtime virtual textures, what you need to do is just kind of nudge them up a little bit, and they would rebuild that runtime virtual texture. So if you look at let's see, like these edges here, let's just kind of move this up a little bit. There you go. So that fixes the blending. But I am using runtime virtual textures. I have not used parallax, and I think that might be something that I'm probably going to take a look at. Thank you. But the runtime virtual texture still works out great. I'm pretty happy with the results for it. Now there's definitely kind of issues like this here, but I'm not sure why that happens. And again, like I said, it's probably due to the runtime virtual texture volume not generating that texture correctly or properly. Right now it looks like it's all set. It's also a pretty small size for it, but yeah, that's what I'm using. And aside from that, I'm just relying on the normal, because it still looks, even with the normal, like around here, it still looks pretty good. And I'm also trying to not have any texture that the player would equate with something that needs to have a displacement. Like in this case, there's like pebbles, small pebbles, so nothing really really big. There's like kind of a little bit of a bigger rocks in this particular texture, but again, with the normal, it's kind of okay. It doesn't look too bad, not having the displacement. And yeah, that's one of the things that I was okay, why did they remove that? Who'd ever thought of that's a good idea? But I think it might play into the way they have it set up with maybe the nanite thingamabob and kind of like their virtual geometry type of stuff, which I'm still not really using anyways. The main thing that I moved to UE5 was they're not going to support Unreal Engine 4.27, and I wanted to have Lumen and also kind of the real-time reflection, so that would cut a lot of my time when it comes to setting up lighting, which is what I was hoping for. And from a performance standpoint, it still runs as well as it did in 4.27. There's definitely like the cons that we were looking at it earlier with Victor. The debug is pretty bad comparing to 4.27. I'm not sure what they did there, why it's working so poorly. But aside from that, things work out pretty good. And I haven't gotten as many crashes with the 5 version than I was getting with the 4.27. Also building my project, so I was able to build it maybe a couple of weeks ago, I think, maybe even less. I was able to build it. It after fixing some small issues, it built just fine and it ran fine, and I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so I was saying that I'm gonna let's actually jump and open the main world here. Where was that? Persistent. just to fly a little bit around the world and show you kind of the areas that I still need to button up a little bit before the initial test build. Oh, Gurkan, thank you so much for asking. My pleasure. And hopefully I'm saying your name right. Um, I'm always happy to have people from all over the world, but I might end up, butchering some names. Hopefully not too bad. Well, so Gurkan, are you Turkish by any chance? If so, hopefully I'm saying this right. But teşekkür, if you are. Okay. Um, so something that we looked at last week was kind of this little town area here that I still need to touch on. Then there's well, I do fly Turkish, so I think that's the one thing that I try to at least pronounce as best as I can. But it's tough, I'm not sure why, but it's tough for me to say certain words, or like to pronounce things. Okay, so um, if you recall from previous streams, I am using these little boxes here to highlight that this area has been it's kind of a I would call it like a hero area. So in this case, this particular area here is like where the laundromat would be, which is this area here is where the gas station would be, which is this area here. So I am using this little box to highlight if this area has been done, so that way I know that all the extra details have been added to this area. So that's why I have this here, and right now it's just not quite done yet, but yeah, so this is another one, and I think this one I can set it up. Let me edit this one real quick so I can hide it in game mode. Okay, and where is it? Hidden in game. Compile. So these areas are pretty much set, and I was hoping that I was gonna be able to make it hidden in game, but it's probably just not the same as in game mode. Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to hide this particular. So I have a bunch of levels here, and one of them is this heroes area level, which would contain all these pieces. So I'm not gonna load them on runtime, but and apparently it's not in the right level. That's why it's acting so badly that this one's not being hidden. I'm gonna just move it to that. Select the level, move it there. Alright, so that can go there, and this one can also go there. Okay, so areas such as this there's still kind of some work that I need to do, and once all of this would be in place, then I'm definitely gonna do a test build, and it's getting really close. Like I said, Andre, thank you so much. You do too. I mean, it's kind of the same name. Thank you. Right, so this is kind of like the world itself. The bunker that we were looking at, it's gonna be somewhere around, along this area here. Um, the other thing that I also need to add is like the surrounding, because this entire world needs to be kind of you don't want to fall, walk off the edge of this. So there's going to be kind of some like this kind of cliff ranges, cliff areas around here. If any of you have played, like take for example, one game that always comes to mind recently is Days Gone, and because I just love that game so much, it's the way they have a lot of these areas separated is with this kind of cliff setup, like a lot of cliffs around the edges and then tunnels going into the next area on the map. And that's what I'm planning to do, kind of to give the player the idea that you can travel away from that, but for now this is kind of where you're stuck in this world. And so as I was saying, there's like the little town area. There's gonna be a mansion kind of right around this hilly side here. Then I was saying that there's the gas station, the laundromat. There's going to be like a little supermarket here, just trying to make this feel like it's being lived in. There's like some like shacks and kind of like a fishing village in this area here. Let me see if I can turn that on real quick. Where is it? Is it this one? Yep. So like right in this area here, there's like a little bit of a fishing village as well. And also kind of one of the main employers in the world is going to be this water treatment facility here. So this is going to be this one. And there's also going to be a kind of a mine exploitation, which I intend to put it in between kind of the edge of the world here and the water treatment facility. So probably somewhere in this area. Okay. So with that said, hopefully that gives you a little bit more of an insight into how the world is at the moment, and what the plan would be before a build. Okay. So for the rest of the stream today, what I wanted to do is play around with this town area here, because it's something that I started off last week, and I wanted to continue with it, and just work on it a little bit more, just trying to figure out what we've done in the last stream was kind of move. Andre, thank you so much for stopping by, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. There's going to be, like I said, another one tomorrow, same time. I'm trying to schedule these to be at noon Eastern Time, 5 p.m. GMT, so hopefully that works for folks. Okay, and so what we were looking at last week is with this little village area here, kind of not having it completely flat. I mean, having it on a flat surface is the easiest way to build things as per usual, but I wanted to give it a little bit of a kind of a variety. So just trying to get them to be a little bit like on a slope, on a hill, right? And I was looking at this, and I kind of like the idea of this being, if you think of it like a multi-tier elevation, but it's just still too flat. And I was I kind of like it, but at the same time it's just too flat, and I wasn't really happy with it. So there's definitely going to be like kind of flat spots, in this. Like for example, I'm fine with keeping this entrance here being flat, and maybe slope it down here. But back here, I wanted to add a little bit more elevation, and actually just have it slope up a little bit more than what it currently is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna try and actually open up this level and work in this level first. And now that I know that this is going to be the low spot of this little town, I can just start and build from there and like rearrange these in its own level. Hopefully that might make it a little bit easier. After that, bring it in here and sculpt in the terrain, because in the end I'm gonna need to sculpt the terrain around the houses and not move the houses with the terrain. So I'm gonna try and do that, see how that would work. Okay, let's see. So I do have this list of levels here, and I believe this one is, what's the name of this? It is it small town level? Ah, that's what it is. Okay, perfect. So let's open up that level and try and place the houses in a more kind of interesting type of way. Alright, so now there's no lighting here, so I'll just add one of my this sky blueprint that I have, just so we can see things a little bit better. And you know, I'm just gonna delete it once we're done with it. Let's do this one minus 12,000 there. Okay, so as I was saying, this is gonna be kind of the flat area of it, you know, probably the entrance. I'm gonna be deleting or removing this house probably, or just moving it around. But the reason that I also wanted to be in this view is that it's gonna make selecting the houses a lot easier. But first, what I wanted to do is, in the outliner, let's select this road mesh and also hide all the roads and just leave the houses, so that way I can select each individual house and kind of move it up and down based on, you know, whatever I have in my head at the moment. Okay, so this one I'm gonna try and select, where was that? There was like a way to select matching all classes. There we go. And at this point, I'm trying to see if I might just delete these, because in the end I think for the ground I'm just gonna rely on the actual terrain. And if I do need some flat sections, I can add those. But what I think I'm going to do with these is I'm just going to delete them. And you know, better yet, let's just create an empty level, and I'll keep him on that. Better yet, to save him than actually be sorry. If I decide to delete the level, I can. You know, there's no issue with that. Alright, so let's call this small town grasses, maybe, and level. And I'm probably going to use this to also move some of the fences as well. Alright, so let's just move all these actors to it. And there's also quite a lot of actors, so yeah, that's going to be cutting down quite a lot of draw calls. So in the end, I might just I'm definitely not it doesn't look like I'm going to use them. So let's move these ones as well, just like that. And of course also the fencing. Let's also take a look at this, because there are quite a lot of them. So let's go to select and matching. That's not really it. Doesn't look like I selected anything. Huh. Is there multiple types of fences? Oh, it looks like there is multiple types of fences. Okay. Hey Miles, welcome, welcome. Alright, well let's select these, and I'm just gonna, at least they're all named outside fence, so at this point I can just go like that. And yeah, that's 189 actors, and it actually did not select all of them. So I'm gonna do outside fence. Okay, there's quite a lot. Yeah, 167. That's, yeah. So I'm gonna move those to, let's actually create another one just to keep things organized. And this one's gonna be also small town level, but just fences. Fences, there we go. Alright, so I'm gonna move it to that. So if you're interested, it's Control M to move everything to that. There we go. So just out of curiosity, now that we're here, I wanted to see what's the draw call. So if you do stat RHI, so still quite a lot of draw calls. It's not, definitely not fully optimized, because all these houses have like a ton of you know, just single pieces that can be merged together, and so that should you know, bring down the draw calls by quite a lot. So let's see if how will it look if I show the other levels as well. Will this number change? So let's take a look and show the fences. And so that went up by what, like 200 or something? So this is like right around 3,400. So the fences brings it up to, let's see. Oh, it doesn't really, yeah, so it's there, that's kind of where it's what it was, 3,500. Not sure if these are instantiated as well. And then also adding the grasses, you know, we went up to 3,700, though it does come down, so that's what I'm trying to figure out, if these are somehow instantiated meshes. It's something new for me as well in UE5. But we're not going to make use of them, you know, because they're all on just a flat surface. So if we're going to move these up, or like kind of move all these houses to different locations, that could also make some changes. So Gurkan, what about auto instance? I've heard something like that, but didn't check. You're probably right. You're probably right. Another thing that I've noticed is whenever some of these are have nanite enabled, that also, and I'm not sure if this one does. It doesn't look like it does, but that also helps quite a lot with the draw calls. But you're probably right. It might be that auto instance, and that's something. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I'm gonna try and look into that to see what the deal is with this auto instance. Perfect. All right. So now that we've checked that one out, let's actually select each one of these houses and just play around with its positioning. The main thing is to position the house is really easy, right? You just move it up and down. The more difficult part is the street, to me at least. Just you know, getting the street to match where the house would be, right? That's kind of the part where that will involve more work, right? So let's see where we want to place things. First, what I wanted to do is actually just kind of group these things together. So I'm gonna go into top view. I'm gonna move some of these to their own, like these roads, because the road the developer has set up the road quite nicely with these blueprints, right? And very useful. Let's see, why can't I select all the BP roads? Oh, because they're like grouped. So now I have the BP roads here, and also this piece. So also, just to keep it contained, I'm gonna create another level here, just to keep the roads in one place. So also just an empty level. Alright, perfect. And so that should keep the roads under there. Let's move it there. Alright, so let's also hide the fences. And now we can easily, or a lot easier, we can select each one of these houses. And I'm also gonna get the bushes around it, even though they're not really fitting with the rest of the vegetation so much. So I'm just gonna keep it at this. I think. Hey Miles, can I ask you something? Of course, yeah, ask away. That's why we're here. Alright, so this would be one group. Let's Control G to put it together under one group. One thing that I'm trying to figure out is, where did the gizmo disappear? Where are you, gizmo? Oh shoot, did I? Okay. I think part of the group ended up being also the sky. I might have selected that. And let's group, and let's try doing this again. Why would it set up to origin? What else did it select? Let's try and pick on this little house here. I'm gonna try and hide the sky. See if I select this like that. You would think that the group would be created somewhere around here, but Control G and it's there. But it's still better. I mean, the other one didn't even like come into the same zip code. Huh. Okay, so we have one house. Let's do another one, and Control G for that one. And okay, so I've selected that one. That's good. Alright, let's move this tree away and get this garage, because this could be reused in other places as well. Compilacja 3 by Christy Dules. I think. I do not know. But we can chat about it on Discord. I can ask around, see if anybody might know something about that. Alright, let's group this one together. There he goes. And also, Miles, if you wanna, after the stream, if you wanna chat about the issue you were having with Blender, let me know. Okay, so there's another house. Let's try and bring this one together. I'm not sure if it was. It might have been because this one's a blueprint. I might have put it in there by mistake. Let's see. So there's that. And now it's somewhere here. Why? Not entirely sure why that's happening like that. That's kind of odd. Let's try and select. I'm gonna try it one more time. No, there's something wrong with this particular one. I'm not sure exactly what else is being selected. Let's try with this one here and see if we'll get the same trouble. No, that one works fine. It's kind of odd why that one particular one has something in it or that is not behaving. Alright, let's leave this there. And let's select this house as well. There's another group, another house. Move some of these trees out of the way. Alright, another group, and then this one. There we go. Everything, all the other ones worked fine. I'm not sure what's happening with that one. Alright, there's that one, there's this one. Let's see, I might have missed a couple of items. Alright. There's this one too. Let's make this one. Everything worked fine, but that particular one, I'm not sure what was going on with it. Okay, there we go. Almost there, I think. We almost have all these houses grouped up. There's another one. There's this one. And I think this might be the last one. Or did we group this one? Okay, perfect. So now we have all these houses grouped. Let's go into perspective view. And now that we have all the houses in place, oh, huh, that's kind of cool. This is so cool. This developer also added a basement to this particular house. So it's always nice to see that from you know, marketplace creators, because that was definitely something that I did not expect, honestly. You know, the interior is already nice, but I did not expect to have a basement. So that's cool. This one got a little bit messed up with, I believe it's from last week when we were moving things around, and this one, I think I did not select. Let's fix that real quick. Make sure we're on the grid here. Oops, and the door is separate. Okay, that's more like it. Yeah, so as you can see, these ones are already on slightly different elevation, but I do want them to be a little bit, you know, kind of like this one, maybe a little bit higher than this one, so it kind of goes up on a slope. That's what I'm hoping to do. And the nice thing having this as a group is you can just move them up like so. Perfect. Now this one, for my particular world, is a little bit too big of a house, so I might replace it with one of these smaller ones, just trying to not have them too repetitive. And I think because you know there's a few that kind of look the same to some extent. Like for example, this particular house, I might rotate it to the side a little bit so it doesn't, like if you look from here, they kind of look the same, you know, just the roof line and such. Okay, well let's see how we want to civil engineer this this town. And oh, this one's the house that has the issues. The one with the basement, really? Huh. That's a bummer. Let's clean some of this stuff up here. Alright, well what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and see if I can group these two together and maybe keep them on, because you know they're going to be pretty close to each other, so I'm going to try and keep them on the same same elevation. I just wanted to make sure to make these into one group if possible. So let's try and group it again. Hey Notrion, welcome. And you're definitely right about that. You're definitely right. I could definitely adjust maybe the tint of the roof a little bit, and so like something like that. But yeah, thank you so much for your message. And what is happening? Where's the pivot point for this one now? Whoa. I am really... Oh, it did. So I guess it did somehow get together with the sky. Huh. Let's see if I'm gonna try and do a groups unlock, and can I remove from group? Okay, let's try doing that. And groups lock. And even if I remove the sky, it's still totally odd. Not sure what's happening there. So I might just end up selecting this particular house individually and then moving it along. And this one, let's lock the group back up. Oh, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna leave it like that and just try and do this. And since these guys are on the same street, they're probably going to be on the same level. Find a friend who's a civil engineer and have him scream at this. Thinking this could be a little bit further back. Like I'm kind of envisioning like a little bit of a cul-de-sac here. And let's also maybe move this here as well towards the end. You know, that would slope up somewhat. Let's see, another house that we want to put there, maybe something that looks a little bit more ritzy. This particular one I did not group together, so let's clean this up real quick. Oh, not sure to say, and I had no idea you could group separate objects together in Engine. Yeah, groups are amazing. Groups, levels, there's so much, they're so nice to use, especially for, you know, kind of the world building aspect of things. You know, makes things a lot easier. Alright, so let's select this house and kind of bring it to that cul-de-sac over at that end over there. And I believe it was this one here. And I'm still, like, I'm selecting this one. Oops, I need to deselect these. There we go. So maybe this could be somewhere along with these other ones. Maybe let's set it further back a little bit. You know, could have like a little bit of a driving go into it. Should make things a little bit more interesting. Alright, so that one's on, and maybe place it a little bit higher up. Just like that. Alright, so there's that. This one's a little bit higher as well. So let's move these together with these. Let's bring these up first to the same height. And these pieces, this corner here, I'm gonna move it further back just to leave for like the road to kind of climb up. Alright, so these are gonna be those down here. Let's go ahead and select some more of them, just like that. And with these, oops, nope, I kind of moved them terribly wrong. Alright, so just move them further back to maybe, come on, to about there. Okay. So that puts them a little bit farther back from this main road down here. Though this one doesn't really fit. I mean, there could be like a little bit of a, yeah, that's totally a good idea, I think, to have this as a little bit of a side street here. So let's add a little bit of variety. Just push them back like so, maybe. Whoops, the porch got disconnected from its stairs. can do it. Oh, yeah, it's pretty badly disconnected. So I'm just gonna move it and fix it afterwards. Alright, to about there. And I think I can push these further back a little bit as well. Just like that. Okay. Okay, that's definitely a pretty interesting start, especially for this corner of the town. And I might come back and revisit this end and also kind of put a little bit of a cul-de-sac here just to give a little bit of an ending to it. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how that sits. There's a little bit, there's like 10 minutes left in the stream. So let's jump back into the main world, the kind of my persistent level here, and try and sculpt the terrain to match the placement of these houses and see how that ends up. It just takes a little bit because it's got like a ton of levels to load. There we go. And I have two skies in here at the moment. Let's see which one is the one that I want to hide. So this one is the one from the lighting level that I want to keep, and this one can be hidden. Okay. Let's see where we have the houses. Oh, there we go. So there's some right here, and some that are in the terrain. So let's do some sculpting. This is pretty fun as well. Just working out with this terrain here. Alright, let's see how this how easy this works, because I do have the landscape grasses, which sometimes can impact performance. But I'm gonna go ahead and start flattening. This is gonna start right about here for these ones. Let's increase the stroll strength. It's actually going decently quick. There we go. There's some foliage blocking volumes that I need to add before regenerating the vegetation. Alright, so that's going to be kind of that little side street here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and hide the vegetation just to get see things a little bit better. So Miles, I asked you because I can find it on YouTube or Spotify. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the thing. I can't recall too much about it, so I couldn't really tell you, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Alright, so we have these houses. Let's also do, kind of sculpt it for this area around here as well. These are all going to be on the same level. So I think that's almost where I wanted it to be as far as the sculpting. Let's just continue on here. Alright, so that's one part of it. Now let's do kind of where these other houses are going to be at. So let's see, how far do we want to sculpt this down here? Hopefully not too far. Okay, I'm going to start from oh, is this on the same? I thought I placed that a little bit higher than these other ones, because I wanted for things to start kind of moving up a little bit. Yeah, so this one seems to be on the same level with these ones, but that's not what I wanted. So what I wanted, it's going to be kind of about here, where I wanted this next level for these houses to be, at least to start off from. So there's that. Let's move this higher up to be there. Okay, that's good. So it's a little bit higher from here, and that's the other thing that's kind of nice. It does give kind of an elevation to things. You know, it's not all flat, which I don't like that kind of stuff. For whatever reason, it's just I just don't like things to be on a just too flat of a surface. Okay, so now the other house is going to be back here. So this one, let's also sculpt it, continue sculpting the terrain. This is one of the things that's kind of satisfying with the terrain when it comes to doing this. Alright, so let's continue a little bit more. Try and position this right to be right on the terrain surface. There it is. Alright, let's add a ramp from here to there. So a ramp starting about here and ending right about here. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Let's make this a little bit wider. Alright, getting better. Let's flatten the terrain some more to kind of give where this one is going to be at. And what I wanted to do specifically for this house to kind of raise it up a little bit more, so I'm going to use the terrain from about here. Just kind of sculpt it like that. And the main thing that I wanted to do to see before the end of the stream is to kind of have the road going in here as well, and some of the vegetation around these houses. So let's kind of continue sculpting here. Alright. So now, having this nicely grouped together is easy to just move on up. There it is. It's a little bit close to these ones, so I wanted to push it further back to maybe about there, because I wanted this to be kind of a private little road for this particular house. Let's finish flattening this out. Just like that. There we go. Alright, let's just adjust this here a little bit more. Okay, that's good. Whoops, that went a little too much. Let's just try and smooth this area out. Alright, so now let's add some roads. And at least for this section here. Whoops, and the garage, luckily the garage is still shown through the terrain, so I'm gonna need to sculpt around that a little bit. Okay, yeah, let's add the road going to the house here. And yeah, I think we're closing in on yeah, we just went a little bit over 2 hours, so let's just finish this off, you know, adding the road and kind of turning on back the vegetation and seeing how that looks. We might need to resimulate some of them or just manually remove some of them around here. Okay, so let's add a spline here and manage splines, and I'm gonna start it from here and going this way to the house. Let's set this up, segments, and I wanted to, where was it? Meshes. And I wish I would have known what the road texture is, so let's cheat here real quick and see which one this is. There we go. Alright, so let's scale this up a little bit better. And of course I'm going to need to have a different texture, because this one is, you know, kind of a 2-lane street, and we're not on a 2-lane street here. It's just a private driveway. But let's adjust the scale, and I think that seems about right, at least at this time. Okay, so let's select the control points and only select it. Doesn't really sculpt the terrain so well, but I'm gonna go ahead and start painting. This particular layer does not have any vegetation associated with it, so it should remove all the kind of the ferns and everything that's on it. I'm not sure why it just got for a little bit there it got kind of performance just dropped. So there we go. Alright, so I wanted to hide the one that's from here. There it is. Okay, and let's delete some trees. And just for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to delete them through through the foliage tool and not with some procedural volumes. Alright, so where's the size of my tool? What's happening? Why can't I see my tool? Oh, there it is. Alright, so let's delete the stuff that's on the road because it shouldn't be on the road. What was it doing on the road in the first place? Everything around the house. Just like that. And some around here. Let's also delete some of this stuff to let some of the sun come through. Kind of like that. There we go. All right, that's perfect. That's pretty good. It's something that ended the stream on a cool looking kind of image, and so this way there's like a little bit of a variety. You know, I'm gonna need to clean this area up, but then this one is gonna slope down into like the bottom section of the city, and so on. So I think having that that elevation does help. That at least, you know, I'm building something that I like, so I hope other people like it as well. Okay, so with that said, I have a couple of things to fix before tomorrow's stream, and there's going to be a little bit I'm going to try in the background to figure out a way to get these sidewalks to work. If whether if I'm going to end up using this particular one from the original developer, which I do like, or creating something myself. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow at the same time, and thank you everybody so much for stopping by. I think it was a pretty good stream. I know I learned something. I got to do stuff, and appreciate everybody stopping by. Alright, well, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye.